Nevertheless, we continue down to the co-main event where Valentina Shevchenko, like I said, I predicted she would defeat ELYXR Grasso.
I turned my back.
And for me, it was a few small things. I thought maybe the moment was going to be too big for her. Maybe she'd come out flat. Obviously, Diego Lopez, her close friend, teammate fight the fight before. It was an iffy fight. Ended up beating the shit out of Brian Ortega, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I never, full disclosure, I made the prediction. I never thought ELYXR Grasso would be that flat on Saturday night. People talk about Sean O'Malley being flat. ELYXR Grasso came out there and was
You want me to tell you something? I thought the second fight would be this fight.
Oh, yeah.
At its time.
Yeah.
I thought Shev was going to come like this in the second fight. Another thing. Grasso never got her hands going like she did in the other fights. And that was one of the main areas she was winning in.
Yeah.
She did really well in the grappling exchanges in those previous fights. I felt like she did. This fight, it was kind of funny though. I brought it up. I felt like for a long time, like a big issue for her. She would end up on bottom and people were on top of her and she would kind of
sit in guard
and just be there. Now it's a little different. She's more offensive off her back. She's throwing up submissions, but
no, it's in tight. She almost died.
But I know they gave him a lot of shit for that.
Yeah, Joe was rough, man.
But she was on her back a lot for this fight, and she just couldn't get down from under. And don't get me wrong, she had Shev, I think, and she had her thinking a lot, and had Shev, on her toes while they were on the ground. But I mean, I can't remember who said it, but in modern MMA, dude, it's just really, really hard to win from underneath these days on bottom, through a guard. I mean, there's guys who can do it. There's gals who can definitely do it, but it's not how it used to be. Where at one point in time, it's you would enter someone's guard like that, and it's like you could win the fight from there entirely.
Yeah,
it's a big rarity these days for anybody to be able to do that. And then let's just say it, man, Shev, fucking god, dude, what a performance! I mean, she didn't get the finish she wanted that she predicted, but it was a dominant 50-45 win over the former champ. I gotta feel for Grasso held that title for a while. Granted, it's because she fought the same person. Tough, all of that, but it was almost 2 years?
She won it last March, so she was coming up on 2 years.
Oh, okay,
like a year and a half.
Okay. Still, though, I mean, she held it for quite a while of only fighting one individual. They had the first. By the way, I didn't even think about this, but they had the first ever women's trilogy. Yeah, I felt for her because I thought she was going to rise to the occasion. I thought she had done all these leaps and bounds and improvements, and then to turn up that performance, it was like the biggest letdown ever. I mean, I can really imagine how she feels. Like, obviously, I am going kind of hard here, but it was disappointing, man. Like, she was let's put it like this: every Mexican fighter could have lost in the card, but if Grasso would have won, that would have been a big W.
Exactly. That's very true. Unfortunately, dude, like, she was flat, man. I mean, I really didn't expect, of all the ways for this fight to go, I never expected it to be a Shevchenko masterclass. Like, I picked her. I thought it'd be a close fight.
It was literally, y'all must have forgot.
It literally was. I mean, and here's the thing, man. I've never seen in my time of watching MMA a fighter who is younger in a trilogy fight perform the worst of all three.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't think it would happen. And just
like, even in the first fight, people correctly point out Shevchenko was winning before the choke, but Grasso was hanging in there. And that's why whenever she won, it's like, okay, damn, like, all right, that was crazy, but she was in that fight the whole time. Second fight was razor close, even closer than the first fight.
But it looked like Shev had won, maybe.
It looked like Shev had won, but still ended up being a draw, which I didn't have a problem with at the time. The third fight to come out here, Shevchenko is 36, about to be 37, I believe. She may already be 37. Let me just double check.
I think she's still 36.
She's going to be 37 in March. She's going to be 37 in March. A former champion, done all that there is to do. Coming in at somebody younger, she's already lost to. And I mean, unless you're from Guadalajara, she won all 5 rounds. You know what I mean? Like she
50-45 her ass.
50-45 her ass. And it's like, man, full props. I mean, she had almost 3 full. I mean, I think the exact number was like 14:46. Like 14 minutes, 46 seconds of control time. Damn near 3 full rounds of just controlling Grasso on the mat. And I understand that's boring to some people. And yes, it is. And I get it. But dude, you're talking about just complete and utter domination from a woman who, I mean, after this one, number 2 all time? Maybe, in my opinion, I think number 2 all time.
I mean, she's no matter what in that discussion for the rest of time.
But just to come back, I mean, it's It's basically what Nunes did prior to her retirement. Come back, win the belt whenever. And granted, and let me just be clear here, ELYXR Grasso, much better of a opponent to face than Juliana Pena.
In very different ways they were lost too.
Correct. But just full credit, man. I'm so impressed by Shevchenko. Of all the ways for the fight to go, I never thought it'd be domination. Truly, never for a little bit. Like of all the fights on this card, I'll put this one near the bottom, man. Both fights were close. And for coming in on 30, damn near 37, to go out there and dominate, insane. As far as what's next, it's either Manon Ferro or a fourth Grasso fight. It seems like they're not going to go with another.
Oh, they're not going to. They're not. They're going to let Grasso. They got a few in. I think she's probably going to have to get like 2 wins, and then she's back in. Granted, though, it depends who she beats, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And plus that, we pretty much know at this point that, like you said, Manon Ferro's next. I think if Rose wins over Blanchfield, because I don't know if they could give the title shot to Blanchfield if she beats Rose, but I feel like if
I think they will.
I don't know if that I don't know if I agree with that, but I think that if and granted, there's not like, I mean, what are your options, right?
Yeah, well, that's the other reason why I'm saying
that's the other thing. But I feel like if Rose wins, it's like without a question, shadow of a doubt, push Rose through.
3 in a row, I think.
3 in a row, and then a win over Blanchfield. Big fight for Blanchfield. Whenever that does happen, that's gonna be. We're gonna have a lot of discussions around that time. Whenever that fight does occur. Granted, though, I don't know if I ever told you this at the time, but we discussed this. I said because if Blanchfield would have won her fight against Manon, I said, or my thought process was, I think if Grasso's still champion, that's a better fight for Blanchfield. But if it's Shev, I don't think Blanchfield is likely to win the title.
Yeah, I think we said that at the time, and I think that's still true today.
Yeah,
like I think for me, Blanchfield Namajunas is a toss up, but I still think the winner will get a title shot, even in his Blanchfield, because look at the state of the division. I mean, the division is stacked, but dude, beating Rose Namajunas in what is it? That should be like 7-1 in the UFC at the point. Only lost to the title challenger. Maybe at that point the champion in Manon Ferro. They'd probably give her a title shot. I feel pretty confident in that. Same time though, man. Shevchenko, the sky really is the limit. I wouldn't be surprised if she beats Ferro and does something crazy, like goes up to 35 or because for her at this point, it's like
she's doing side quests now.
She's doing side quests. She's in the final stages of her career. Whatever she does, she's already a legend. Like
she got to be part of history this past week. Like I said, first women's trilogy, got to fight in the Sphere. Like,
and it's insane to think about her longevity, dude. I mean, most of the great other fighters from her era are already done. They're cooked. They're retired or they're past her. Like who has she faced in the past that's still around? I mean, Holly's still around, but barely ranked / semi-retired, it seems.
Yeah.
Not obviously Nunes is gone. I know Juliana Pena, she submitted her, she's still around, but like most of Shevchenko's like who she came into the UC with in like 2015, 2014, they're all gone. Like she's kind of the last of that first wave, or one of the last of the first wave. So for her, it's like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, hey, she goes out there, beats Ferro, and he's like, Kayla Harrison, because I'm assuming at this point Kayla's already the champion, if we're being honest. Probably at this point. No offense to Juliana Pena and Raquel Pennington, but come on,
come on, dude, the title on the line.